Hey folks, this is Billy DKY, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. This is going to be the second video in the weekly series, Lies and Half-Truths of the Bible. Last week we were high concept. We basically were talking about what this book wasn't, and what I pointed out that this book is not profound truths. I pointed out in the 3-sentence statement, profound truths are simple. The Bible is complicated, therefore the Bible isn't profound truth. And that's really sort of like a geometric proof. And so then, again, we're going to stay high concept in this video series, or this video as well. So I pointed out what the Bible isn't. Now let me point out what the Bible is. Okay? And if you're wanting specific examples of where the Bible is lies and half-truths, and even the words that Jesus spoke, some of those were lies and half-truths, trust me, we will get into those. But we're going to start at high concept, and then we're going to work down to details. Okay. What is this book then? What is it? What is it? In short, the Bible reveals two things. It reveals the minds of the people who wrote it and the events that were going on during that time. That's basically it. It's not... That's all it is. Don't make it more complicated than it is. Anytime you get confused about what the Bible is, back up to the essence of what it is and then proceed forward into the details. Okay. Okay, let's take a little shallower look at it. Let's break it down to the Old Testament. What is the Old Testament? The Old Testament reveals the Jewish mind. That's it. If you want to take it a little bit deeper, it's the Jewish mind's pursuit of truth. And then the next thing that's going on in the Old Testament is revealing some history to it. And then the problem is we get in. Here's the problem, though, we get into with the Old Testament. You might ask the question, why does the Old Testament have so many fantasies in it? I mean, it's just, you know, and then you have to back out and come 2,000 years forward, or 2,000 plus years forward. What do you like? Do you like the Hollywood movies? Did you like Harry Potter? Did you like Independence Day? Did you like The Matrix? You love fantasies just as much as those people did back then. People love a fantasy story. People want a fantasy story that teaches them a lesson. That sounds like the Old Testament. Fantasy stories that teach a lesson and also reveal a little bit of history. That's all that's going on. Don't make it more complicated than it is. If they'd have just told you straight up truths like I'm doing, they may not have been that popular. Think about it. The Jews back then were telling stories that taught a lesson, told a story, and gave you a little bit about current events. Well, what do you think you're watching today when you watch a Hollywood movie? Same kind of situation. The Jews were telling good stories back then and people were listening. And the Jews are telling good stories now in Hollywood. Who's in control of Hollywood? The Jews. Do you see the point? Do you see how it's... The truth repeats itself endlessly. If you'll pay attention to what's going on now and understand it and apply that same... overlay that with the past, you'll see what's going on in the past. It's not real difficult. You just get to change your perspective a little bit and get out of the BS that people have told you that, oh, the truth cannot be questioned from the Bible. That's BS. Don't buy into it. Okay, let me see what else we have here. Okay, so what does the New Testament reveal? Again, it's no different. It reveals the minds of the people writing the books. That's it. And some current events that were going on. That's it. And it's not nearly as entertaining as Old Testament, some of the fantasy stories. However, it's still just those two things. Don't make it any more difficult than it is. Okay. Next week, I think what I'm going to do is go into some more details, because I think we've covered the high picture of what the Bible isn't. We've covered what the Bible is. Now it's time to dig in to get into the little meat of the details of what's really going on. And if you want to know more profound truth or about me, I have several links in the information section of this video. If you wouldn't mind, folks, please rate the video. And until next week, later, folks.